it's time for me to dive into one of my very favorite porters. That's right, it's a Baltic Porter. You know, by the way, in case you didn't know. Oh, wait, I didn't tell you what beer or who the beer's from. That's right, it's a beer from Sixpoint Brewery out of Brooklyn, New York, US of A. Yay, yay. And what beer do we have from them today? We have 3Beans. That's right, next to me you see 4Beans and 5Beans, but this is a special 3Beans. That's right, this is the bourbon barrel aged version of 3Beans. And they have aged this beer in Widow Jane Bourbon Barrels. That's a locally sourced product, as are the cacao nibs and coffee that are in this for 2 of the 3Beans. And they also throw in Romano Beans for good measure. Now, way back when, this beer was brewed at a time when Hurricane Sandy came in, beat the crap out of New York and New Jersey and all that, and was a really cool special beer that I dug when it came out. So subsequently, they released 4Beans and 5Beans. Now, this year, there's barrel-aged versions of 3, 4, and 5Beans, but the only one they put out into general distribution was barrel-aged 3Beans. So I'm still really, pumped and psyched to try this one out. Oh, by the way, it's clocking in at 10.0% ABV, and they're not saying the IBUs now, but back in the day when 3Beans was new, it clocked in at 85 IBUs. But it has varied between 85 to 40 and 38 IBUs over the bean count beers. So that's my story there. I'm sticking to it. We're going to crack the top on this exceedingly fresh can, get in the snifter, and tell you what's up with 3Beans Bourbon Barrel Aged Edition. Hell yes. Love that sound. It's been a really, really long week. I've earned this beer. Let's get in the snifter. Woo! I can smell the bourbon and coffee wafting off the top of this can right here. Damn. Alright. Let's talk about the appearance of this beer. It is completely black like it is, excuse me, every year. We've got a solid finger and a quarter of super tightly packed bubbles. Not soap sudsy at all when I swirl it. Yeah, we're going to get nice glass lacing, I think, but we're getting definitely tons and tons of alcohol legs. Look at that delicious black water in the glass. But you know what? With all those adjuncts in there and the bourbon barrel aging, it's got to smell good too. So let's dive in for the aroma. Actually, first up, big up in your grill, dark roast coffee. Then the bourbon rolls in after that. Good amount of vanilla chocolate for days. Some barrel char, some earthy notes. Man, the coffee and the bourbon are melding really well in this aroma. Followed up by the, excuse me, the cacao nibs bringing the chocolate. And there's definitely tons of roast and caramel, a bit of leather and tobacco as well. It smells freaking delicious. It smells like coffee with bourbon in it. Yum. I'm diving in. Cheers! Yeah. Wow, big coffee. Wow. As I thought, nice glass lacing. When you take that first hit, up in your face, which is pretty much regular with this beer in all the variants. The coffee is large and in charge, especially when it's really fresh. This can's about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks old. Yeah, 2.5 weeks old at time of recording. Man, big, deep, rich coffee. Bitterness from the coffee at the sides of the tongue. After that, the bourbon isn't like super duper present, but it's got a really nice bourbon tone to it. After that, I'm getting tons and tons of dark chocolate. Bit of caramel, a lot of burnt brown sugar. As it invades my palate, I'm getting more bourbon. It's a little bit boozy. This beer's always a little bit boozy fresh. They say here on the box that it'll develop for years to come. I think it will. The coffee, of course, will die down. This is a really big, tasty coffee beer right now. It kind of reminds me in some ways of when you drink Speedway Stout, that big, intense, driving roast of coffee and malt at the same time. That's what this is giving me. This is super easy to drink. Besides the little tiny bit of booziness to it, which this beer always has fresh, no warming in the chest, no big taste of alcohol. And the warming is more of like drinking bourbon kind of warming, when I'm drinking it here. Damn fine beer. Super well made. Yum. Now, when I graded this way back when, I think it was like 2013, 2014 when I had this beer. 2014 maybe? Can't remember. Too many moons ago. I gave this an A for sure. And at that time, excuse me, currently, not at that time because we don't care, but you know, this was an A beer for sure, like an A- beer on Beer Advocate. And back in the day, I was using rate beer, so they were giving 97. Now that's the non-bourbon barrel aged version. So, you know what? You know why this is like I think American bourbon or whatever they're doing in Widow Jane. Maybe that's the bourbon profile I'm getting because it is different but tasty. Anywho. I digress. You're not surprised. I was grading this beer, wasn't I? Lest I forget. For the bourbon barrel aged version, Beer Advocate's giving this 4.1 out of 5, and Untapped is also giving this 4.12 out of 5 caps. So definitely for Untapped, that's way into their A range, and that's probably just creeping up into the A range for Beer Advocate. Let me take one more taste of this. It's as described on the can. I'm going 97. Definitely high A beer, super easy to drink. The bourbon barrel aging's done right. I think some people may want a little more bourbon flavor, but I don't know. I think it's the bourbon flavor that's in there will come out more over time. It's being hidden by the big driving coffee of this super fresh can. So, have you had Sixpoint Brewery's 3Beans? Excuse me. Bourbon Barrel Edition, if you have, or Bourbon Barrel Aged version, whatever they want to call it, or you want to call it, it's got Bourbon Barrel Aging to it. So, anywho, if you've had it, let me know what you know, because I like to quit pro quo and the back and forth. Oh, you know what's also really cool is when you think locally, drink locally, and support the craft beer movement, and it is really awesome as well when you rate, comment, subscribe, and if you get around to it, maybe consider smashing that like button, because that, along with one can, that's all I'm going to need to kick it tonight. Hell yes, of Sixpoint Brewery's 3Beans Bourbon Barrel Aged Edition. That's right, it's going to put my big ass happy face on. So the next DJs BrewTube, I got nothing but a bunch of hella bunch of 3Beans. I can't speak, that means I need more beer. 3Beans Bourbon Barrel Aged Edition, drinking love for you. And you know what's coming? That's right, this is real review stuff. It's all one take, in case you didn't notice. Anyway, here it comes, guys. A big peace!